Hi, I'm Tommie Gray.
And I'm Madie Crusan.
And this is Rein Check.
I'm going to giggle every time I hear the name.
We should giggle every
time. You should have heard the ones that we were bouncing off each other. What were some of the other ones? It was like Pony Talk. Or like...
Pony Talk. And I know.
Pony Club.
But yeah, there was a million of them. But Rein Check was the best one. And of course, it's spelled rain like a rain.
R-E-I-N.
Yeah. You know that has a double entendre?
Like rain, like to rule?
Well, not just that. In horses, it has a double entendre because when you're driving, like, a carriage and whatnot, there's a piece of equipment called a check rein.
The long things aren't the reins?
Well, no, they're reins, but they're also called lines.
Oh, okay.
But there's a piece of leather that goes from the surcingle.
Here, tell you what, let me look up a picture. I'm not looking at that.
And then
we can put it in to show the viewer. Yes, I'm going to blind react too once we get to that. Nope. R-E. Why did I look up our podcast name like we're famous?
Because we're totally famous.
Check Rein.
This is our first podcast, and we're completely well known. We get invited to all the cons.
Yeah, we had paparazzi outside. We were just telling them to.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
So you find a picture that you like, and I'll save it.
So any of those will work. Okay. That one's actually a really good one. This piece of leather that's going from the surcingle, it's also called a saddle in driving. But it oftentimes...
Not confusing at all.
Not confusing at all, right? But it also sometimes usually will include the breast collar, which is this strap right here in driving.
Okay.
Obviously, the breast collar goes around the chest too, but right here. And what it does is that it will connect these two pieces to the bridle.
Oh, it's the thing that's going over his neck?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And as you can see, when used incorrectly, it makes the horses or mules or donkeys or whatever else is using it incredibly uncomfortable.
Let's find one where the horse looks comfortable. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
there we go.
Yeah. Here.
Well, here, we'll put it in post.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. The guy who taught me, actually removed the check rein. Okay. And what he has instead is an old billet that attaches the breast collar strap to the surcingle, because one of the things that the check rein often does is help prevent the breast collar from sliding forward.
Oh.
Because the breast collar will often have straps that attach back to the buggy too that help with regulating everything.
Okay.
But the front of the strap that goes to the top, when they put their heads down, can slide forward.
Okay. With our horses, though, because they're so much more narrow, don't we have a problem with them sliding backwards?
They can, depending on what kind of harness you have. When she says our horses, we specialize in a heritage breed, or at least I do, and she does.
I dabble in it.
And she does because of me. So, now that we've discussed check rein check, ha ha ha, aren't we funny?
Y'all are just giggling your heads off.
Why should you be listening to us? Well, because we're kind of the two extremes when it comes to horsemanship. Mm-hmm. I, despite the fact that I'm disabled these days, am
actually show them your cane too. I think every time I take her out or show her around, people comment on her cane.
When she lets me out of the cage, and lets me come up from the basement.
We said we wouldn't talk about that. But people comment on her cane.
Yeah.
And
and this was hand carved by a gentleman in the Ukraine many, many years ago. Believe it or not, I bought it on eBay. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's still around and still does this, but I still love my cane and I get lots of comments on it. I am a equine professional of sorts. Mm-hmm. I've ridden many, many, many horses. I've trained many, many horses. I've ridden several horses to multiple national championships.
What number would you put on how many horses you've trained?
Oh gosh, I stopped keeping up with that a lot when I was still in my teens.
Would you be like in the mid-hundreds?
Oh no, I don't think it's that high.
Okay,
but I would say it's dozens. It's dozens. And the only reason I don't think it's that high is because...
Are you talking about from green broke to fully broke, or I just mean like worked on?
If we're talking just worked on, like I've touched them and taught them something, then it might be in the hundreds.
That's what I was thinking.
If I've touched them and taught that horse something, then it probably is hundreds. I was talking about like touch them and green broke them at least. Then that's dozens. I have sold horses. I have bred horses. I have, name it, and I've probably done it, unless it's English.
Yep.
I have some English experience, but it's definitely one of my weak points.
Whereas me, I only came into the horse world about 6 years ago.
Oh, I'd say it's longer than that.
I wouldn't. I think I was 19. I'm 27 now.
Oh.
So I guess 8 years,
I
7
thought
8 years.
I thought you were 16.
It was my 19th birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that's when we came to the farm that Tommie was working at the time. And that's when I had done English lessons as a kid, and that was a few months, and then it just fell off. And I came for a trail ride and met Tommie, and the rest is history.
And she's regretted it ever since.
I know. That's why I was going to just leave it. The rest is history. But no, I was in undergrad at the time, and I had a lot of free time. I was about to go off on my winter break, and I said, do y'all need any help around? And they just kind of said, yeah, do what you want.
I said, will you hay?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I remember, I don't know where all this energy went, because I was 19. I was all spunky and ready to, pet horses and just bury my face in a mane. And I've always loved horses too. Like anytime we were on road trips with my family, if I saw a horse trailer, I'd be like, Dad, speed up. And then wait, slow down. Now, okay, that's a gray horse. That's
horse girl energy.
Horse girl energy.
Horse
just
girl
without
energy.
The horse. And then as a kid too, I loved horses. I had horses on everything. I just didn't have, Tommie was probably my dream life, where you just.
And I feel so sorry for people who say that.
I was about to say, and I know, context is key, but.
And I don't mean that to anybody whose dream is to work in horses professionally. I mean that to anybody who's already done it and was like, yeah, so about that arthritis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I'm feeling it in this knee. This knee sounds like a haunted house now.
Right?
Yeah, because this is the one that I land on whenever I slide off.
Yeah. Or when you come off, you're going to try to catch yourself, and instead it's your knee or your hip or something like that.
I don't fall.
What? Emergency dismount? No such thing.
But yeah, no. So I've been doing it for about 7 years. I haven't green broke a horse, but I know the
You've ridden a lot of green
procedure.
horses.
Oh yeah, I've ridden a lot of green broke horses. I put miles on horses. We did some endurance. Done led trail rides. Taught people how to go from never being on a horse to being semi-comfortable on a horse. And so that's my limited experience. So I think I can offer a more outsider perspective on some things. And then Tommie can offer the professional horsewoman opinion.
Shh, don't tell anyone. So basically, it's kind of like, the pro versus the hobbyist.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with being either one. Mm-hmm. Heck, if all you can do is pick up a Breyer and go to the Breyer hobby shows, or even hobby horses like the stick horses, and if that's all you can do, that's all you can do, because horses are expensive and extremely accident prone. Ask anybody who has one.
Are you talking about accidents happen easily on horses or to horses?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Just
yeah.
I've seen so many videos of like horses' heads in trash cans or feed bags, or
horses are awesome, but they're extremely accident prone. And I think part of that is
happen.
Yeah, because I think part of it's because horses are extremely curious, but they're also extremely spooky,
and they get caught.
And they get caught in things, but they also have skin that's actually more sensitive than ours.
I guess I knew that.
Yeah, they have skin that's more sensitive than ours, and a digestive system that's more sensitive than ours.
That I knew.
And between those two things, and their legs and feet are super sensitive.
Over the years, I've just listened to you, and you're just a wealth of knowledge. I'm not even saying that like sarcastically or anything like that. You teach me so many things, and in your head you're just like, oh, this is just a thing that I know. Like you told me horses don't have fur, they have hair.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So how much do I sign the check for?
Yeah, right. You just bill me.
Yeah, I do owe you a lot at this point. So
We owe each other a lot.
No kidding.
No, and then I was hoping too we could go into, I don't know, I think it just depends on what the audience wants. Maybe we can have little sessions where someone sends us in a video or a picture, like, well, what's wrong with this? Or how do you react to this? I love the idea of those reaction videos, but I can't stand, you know this, I can't stand when someone watches a video and it's just like, yes, queen. Yes, preach.
Go off, queen.
Yeah, right? Like, no, like we need, I hope to go deeper than that and provide the
context.
Anatomy context, you know, the context where, you know, oh, I've experienced something like this before and this is what happened.
And we absolutely, we absolutely want people's input on what we should cover. If you just want to have a general background, or if you want the deep dive, because we can absolutely do that. I love the history behind stuff. Why do we call it this? Why do we use this? Why do we have to do this?
And I can be your Jamie and I'll pull things up. And I'll pull up the picture, like, for example, you want to...
Yes, let's talk about
that.
this. So one of the things that we were talking about before we started recording was Beyonce, for example.
Well, we were talking about in the celebrity, like, especially singers,
singer-songwriters, and
music videos.
Oh, yeah.
Usually, you know,
Beyonce,
that might be the first time they've seen a horse.
A lot of times. And 9 times out of 10, they're not even the ones that are handling the horse a lot of times. So...
And it's not their fault. I don't blame them, but I cringe.
Oh, God. I so many times. Like, for instance, one of the times that makes me... All movies make me cringe. Because 9 times out of 10, the actors aren't the ones.
Girl, I'm the only one who can understand you. And Paul says, I gotta sell you unless we win the big race.
I know. Oh, my God.
And then the trainer's off camera shaking some treats at him.
Exactly.
You can so tell.
I ears up. Come on. Ears up. Ears up.
Look cute. Anyways.
Yeah, there's some... a lot of those horse movies are really hard for me to watch. Don't get me wrong. I watch them.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely watch them, and I own a good chunk of them. But some of them, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Like, for example, I went to go see The Mustanger. Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen that one.
I might make you watch it.
You probably will.
But it was coming out in a little indie theater that we have. And my mom took me to see it, and she said, Madie, it's your 2 favorite things, horses and criminals, because I'm actually a criminal defense attorney, but I'm the free attorney you get if you can't afford one, so I'm a public defender. So my mom jokes that I understand criminals and stuff. So she says, your 2 favorite things, horses and criminals. I was like, let's go.
I'm a true crime enthusiast. I get it.
Yeah, but it's about the horse training program in prisons. Oh. And so they'll round up these Mustangs from, you know, off the range, these wild Mustangs, which... You know, the Mustangs will go into the terminology of Mustangs later. That'll be later.
That's another episode for another day.
Probably. But they round these wild horses up, and they'll just kind of give them to prisoners to train, and they'll train them and they'll auction them off. You know, have them do a little rodeo and then auction them off to raise money for the prison. Well, this guy, I forget what crime he did, whatever, but he was like the grumpy, misunderstood, you know, no one gets me, I don't talk unless it's to this horse. And then the horse, he was the misunderstood stallion that no one would touch, and he's dangerous. He's dangerous. they you know, cut to him kicking in his little pen that's closed off, no sunlight, like
maybe
no
I have
windows.
seen this. Maybe I have seen this movie. Go ahead.
Kicking, whatever. And they're saying, he's aggressive, watch out now. And the guy opens the gate, and the horse is just spooked. And they're like, watch out, he's gonna get you. And I'm like, those horse's ears are pinned straight forward. Like, that horse. And then there's one scene where the horse is supposedly triggered by some helicopters. So he, like, bucks the guy off, which I get, you know, whatever. But then he, like, bites him. And, like... Bites the character, or the main character. And, like, acts like he is triggered by that helicopter. And then attacks the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's not, and then the cuts from him getting bit to the horse, and the horse is just like nostrils a little bit flared, ears forward. And I'm like, that's an adorable look on the horse's face. He's not aggressive at all. And I can just picture the trainer behind the
Oh my goodness.
camera with a carrot just being like, come on.
Everybody who's ever tried to take a picture of a horse knows that. It's like, okay, let me grab
My
all the
keys.
noisy things,
And
some grass,
Oh my
ears
gosh.
up, ears up.
Come on. Well, no,
Get
like
your ears up.
the more bomb-proof the horse is, the more you have to do
work.
to get their ears up.
Yes.
I've like done a big whistle. I'm not gonna do it in here, obviously, but I've whistled loud, and they like. I've gotten my keys, which I got a lot of keys.
Wish I,
You know.
I got some keys here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually that's the go-to, but some of the bomb-proof horses, it's just lazy little
Oh my
mule
gosh,
ears.
I've got some bomb-proof horses at my house that will literally sit there and look at you like, why are you being so stupid?
Yeah, honestly. No. Anyways, so we're talking about horses in media.
Yeah. And before we move on, I want to point out some things about what you said. Like, for instance, just so that I know you know, but I want to point out for our listeners and our viewers, like a horse with their ears up technically is not an aggressive horse, or is not being aggressive. One of the first signs of a horse wanting to be aggressive is putting their ears back.
Pinning their ears.
Exactly. There's a difference between a horse who has their ears turned back and a horse that has their ears back. That's literally putting their ears flat or trying to turn their ears flat. That's a sign of aggressiveness. Now,
Behind, and I always say you can read a horse's mind if you look at their ears.
that's exactly right.
So,
Horses are very expressive.
yes. And
Some more than others, but horses in general are very expressive.
so usually the leader of the pack, they know that they're in front. They have their ears forward on the trail. Maybe they'll flick one back to you if you give them a cue and they're listening to you, to let them know that they're listening to you. But their ears are forward because they are looking for danger. That is their nature.
Band or herd, not pack.
In front of the,
Yeah, in front of the group.
in front of the group.
Yeah.
I meant with riders.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to specify that because a lot of people get that wrong, believe it or not.
I had a trivia question and they said, "What is a group of horses called?" And I said, no, I didn't say pack. I'm so stupid.
You said
no,
band, probably.
I didn't say band. I said herd. And he was like, "Oh no, it's pack." And I went up there.
Oh, no, it is not.
I went up there and I was like, "Sir."
You are incorrect.
And I got that point.
As well, you should have.
Because they all looked at me at the table because they knew that I rode horses. Anyways, so yeah, the leader of the herd or the band has their ears forward, looking for danger. Everyone else is looking around. Looking around, meaning their ears are like little satellites. They're kind of like chameleon eyes. They move independent of each other. Usually, a horse listening to you has their ears pointed at you, the rider.
At least one ear. Yeah.
At least one ear.
No, anyway, one of the other things I wanted to point out is so the helicopter thing with BLM or American Mustangs, that's actually a very common trigger because when they are rounded up with helicopters.
And it shows that at the beginning of the movie.
Exactly. So being triggered by a helicopter for horses, especially horses that come off the range in the United States, that actually is a common trigger. They can be very afraid of helicopters because they will get down like practically on the ground and terrify these horses.
To herd them.
Yeah, to herd them, and it's horrifying. And one more thing before we move on. Sorry, I just
No. I'm
so
acting like I'm having flashbacks. No, it never happened to me.
I've seen it. It's awful. It's really, really awful. And then when a horse actually is scared, or at least they're cautious, they will have their ears forward. But
ears forward, neck up,
nostrils flared, eyes wide. Not unusual to see the whites of their eyes if they're scared or alarmed. So having their ears forward and nostrils flared and standing up straight is a sign of being afraid.
That's just what he looks like.
but not aggressive.
Yeah.
They look completely different if you know what you're looking for. For somebody who's not used to working with horses, the very first things I always recommend to everybody is riding lessons. And if you get a good coach will teach you how to speak horse.
I mean, I know the first few lessons usually shouldn't be you getting on the horse. It's learning horse care. Like how to tack up your horse, how to care for your horse,
How to tie your horse.
how to tie it.
How
That's
to-
the number one.
That's going to end up being a thing too, because honestly, if you know how to tie your horse properly, it should be a quick release knot of some kind.
We should bring a post in here. And teach
Actually,
them
there's a
how.
couple of different posts, but the main thing we need is a piece of rope or yarn or something to be
I
able.
think I can scrounge up some yarn.
No, us.
Yeah.
By the way, we also do a lot of crafting in the form of crochet and knitting, which if you're unlucky enough, you will probably see at some other point in space and time. But
We might come in here wearing hats. I would love for you to bring in one of your horse dolls. They'll be so cute.
I can bring King in.
Oh.
I made a horse doll of my stallion I lost this year, and it had some of his hair in it.
Sweet baby.
He might be our mascot.
Yeah.
King can
We'll
be
see
our
King.
mascot. But
Yeah.
anyway, those are things you will see in actual horse situations. However, even if in some people who claim that they're professional trainers, if they've never really learned how to speak horse, will mistake a frightened horse for an aggressive horse.
So, I mean, horses are herd animals.
Exactly.
They're prey animals.
Exactly.
So their first instinct is flight, not fight.
Yeah, flight or fight is 9 times out of 10 what most horses are going to rely on. And that's what causes the spook.
Yes.
Yeah, spook is something that a lot of people worry about with horses. And that's what's going to get you hurt 9 times out of 10 because they're such big animals and it is their instinct to spook.
And that's whenever people ask me, why do you ride horses? Why do you love it so much? I always say, because that horse is fighting every instinct that it was born with to let you sit on its back.
That's so
And
true.
I think that's incredible that it trusts you that much, or that it trusts you to put someone on their back. So that's
It is really amazing when you think about it. And when you really think about it, think about this. There would be no human civilization if it wasn't for horses. And other beasts of burden, don't get me wrong. Hats off to all our beasts of burden. Everything from dogs to donkeys to elephants. Oxen. But the horse in particular, we would not have our main civilization because they're everything from transportation to machines of war, especially in the early days of human civilization.
And that's another thing I would love to get into. I think that War Horse movie, where that horse carried soldiers from the front line because he knew his job so well. Or she, actually. I think she was
Joey was a he.
He would carry wounded soldiers from the front line and just keep going back.
A good horse movie, by the way.
Very good.
Very well represented.
And then I would actually love to talk about Bucephalus.
Oh,
Alexander the Great's horse.
I know more about Bucephalus than I'm supposed to. Honestly, for a Bucephalus episode, we'd have to get my mom in here, who taught me most of what I know, by the way. My mom is an Alexander the Great virtual expert, mostly because she loved Bucephalus so much.
I have a book.
So, once again, we've gotten off subject.
Well, I think we can end the episode with this. I think it'll be,
Yeah,
we got a
let's-
taste of a little bit of everything, the media, the history, what we know. So I think this would be a good ending point.
So, I think we're going to talk about JoJo Siwa and...
We'll talk about JoJo Siwa, and then
and
I think we'll
Beyonce.
end with Beyonce.
So, okay. With horses, there's what's considered a right side and a wrong side. And that's literally called the on side and off side. The on side is the left side. That's the correct side. The off side is the wrong side, which is the right side. Why? Most horses, just like most people, are left. So most horses are left-footed, which means
So
that
most people are right-handed. Most horses are left-footed.
correct.
And the way you can tell that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 9% sure I'm right.
9%?
9%.
That's so specific.
9 is German for no. So whenever oh man, I'm gonna have to talk about leads too. All right, well, whenever a horse is loping or cantering, one foot sticks out further than the other. They go ba-dum, ba-dum. That second dump is the foot that it's their dominant foot. Generally, if you're going in a straight line, the one that sticks out more. And so usually for them, it's the left foot.
Yeah, and so unless you specifically make them take a specific lead, which is the one that they're literally leading with, The one that they take naturally is their strong foot or the lead foot. And like I said, most horses are left-footed.
And I'm left-handed, so that's fun.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact. Not all, but because most horses are left-footed, and back in the day when everybody had to ride and you didn't necessarily have your own horse, so you had to go to the saddlery and pick up a horse that you may not know, you would just assume they were left-footed. And so you would get on from the left side or the on side. And this was true throughout history, because you wouldn't necessarily be riding the same horse twice, and you wouldn't necessarily know that horse.
So there's got to be a standard.
So there had to be a standard. So you do most things from the left side. However, you don't have to always do it that way. If you, like for instance, I have a rare breed called Spanish Mustangs. They're also called colonial Spanish horses. A lot of them are right-footed. We still saddle and mount from the left side because of tradition and really no other reason. There's also, well, that's not true. There's also, if you sell that horse and somebody doesn't know that that horse is right-footed, they're going to do everything from the left side because that's what they were taught. So there is some logic behind it. But even if that horse is right-footed,
when you sell a horse,
yeah,
usually they're going to mount up on the left side. So
they're going to do most,
on the left
right. If somebody who knows what they're doing, they're going to be doing most things from the left side anyway. However, if that is your horse and you know that they're right-footed and they're stronger from the right side, there's no problem with doing it from the right side.
I'm just thinking about it. It feels icky. I get on bikes on the left side now. Like I can't, I get on motorcycles, all the motorcycles that I ride.
I do it all from the left side too. And that's just because I've done it. I've done horses my whole life.
It feels icky being on the right side of anything now.
Right.
Right.
But honestly, if you're doing distance, which is one of the things that I've done all my life, is distance riding. I've done
it once.
I've done competitive trail riding and I've done endurance riding, both. It's really good to have a horse that doesn't mind either. Doesn't mind getting on from the right side, doesn't mind saddling from the right side. That's very, because if you're ever in an emergency situation,
you break your
you break
left leg.
Yeah, you break your leg, you break your arm. You're in a tight squeeze and the only place to get on is from the right side. You never know.
So, meaning that, horses are creatures of habit. They don't like when something's new or weird, which we should watch spooking videos sometime.
Oh my gosh, yes.
With some of the stuff that they spook at, like something, an odd color.
Dude, I used to have a horse, you know him. I used to have a horse that spooked at mailboxes. He was fine with normal mailboxes.
But with the red flag?
Nope, that was fine. He got over the regular mailboxes, but just barely. However, riding past the big blue ones in front of post offices, those were the worst. They were horse-eating ones.
And they're going to eat him, yeah.
They were absolutely going to eat him, and they were probably aliens from space on top of that.
And he was saving your life.
He was saving his life. He didn't care if I stayed or went.
Anyways, I think we're done with Miss Siwa.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my blind react. Here's your blind react.
Okay. All right.
Pull up Beyonce's country music album cover.
All right. I got it pulled up, I think.
Here it
is.
You're gonna react.
What's she doing?
Exactly.
Is she trick riding?
It's worse than that. Look at the horse's legs.
It's trotting in the front and loping, or it's loping in the front and trotting in the back.
Right.
What are we? Who? That's on heels. Girl, if you fall off, them heels are gonna get caught. You're gonna get dragged. We're dragging you now, though.
Here, there was one other thing. Let's see if I remember. Oh yeah, look under the saddle.
Where's the girth?
Worse than that. Where's the girth? It's a good question.
Where's not the big
pad?
No saddle pad. Ow! Wow.
This is so bad. I originally thought it was AI.
It looks like AI.
Is
she wearing assless chaps?
Yes, she is,
ma'am.
I found out from somebody that I don't know if this person's in the know or not, that it was an actual photo shoot.
Look at the reins. Look at the reins.
I know.
They don't even go on the other side of the horse.
So
Are they connected to the?
see, look, there is a rein on the
Okay,
other side of
but
the
where's-
horse. I heard that this was actually an
stressed out.
actual photo shoot. So apparently it's supposed to be a combination of multiple pictures that were photoshopped together.
I believe it.
However, fun fact, a horse that does that loping in the front and trotting in the back thing
Is that a gait?
Not really. It's called, is that cross-firing? No, that's not cross-firing. Cross-firing is when they're loping on one lead in the front and loping on a different lead in the back. And it's incredibly uncomfortable
Yeah, it
and
sounds
not
uncomfy.
and not a desired trait, but it is genetic.
So I
So
think we should sign off.
we should. Thank you guys so much for this.
you for
This is
tuning
our
in.
first one. We don't even have an outro.
Man.
We'll have to come up with an outro.
Yeehaw! we'll brainstorm.
Trails. I mean,
Let's go right off into the sunset.
I guess so.
Okay.
So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.